stay in it with the Texans visiting the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Texans are road favorites at 3.5 points. Yes, as they should be. According to FanDuel, 3.5. The total, this one's low too, 33.5. I'm kind of surprised. I've been watching the lines throughout the week before we were doing this, and it opened with Texas minus 5.5, almost a 6-point favorite, and then Zach Wilson is announced as the starter for the Jets, and the Jets grabbed 2 points, and now it's 3.5. So
I guess it's just a boost in competency.
Yeah,
because like it was just like it was already bad, but I feel like it went down to the negatives when they benched him. So
yeah,
I mean, he's back for a reason. It's not like they have a lot of options.
Yeah, Tim Boyle's gone. He's cut. They straight up got rid of him. So it's going to be Zach Wilson. Trevor Siemian's the backup. You're right. Maybe it is. They did win some games with Wilson at the helm earlier in the season, and then he just sort of unraveled there, and maybe rightfully so benched him. But he's back in the lineup. Robert Saleh says that there was no animosity between the two. I know there was a report that said Wilson's going to refuse to start, but they all said that was false. I don't know where that came from. But it is Zach Wilson versus CJ Stroud, who does lose one of his top weapons in Tank Dell. I believe he's out for the season. It was an ankle injury, if I have that correct. So CJ Stroud still got Nico Collins, still have that offense flying high with Bobby Slowick. The defense playing well as well under DeMeco Ryans. So 33.5 total. Texans minus 3.5. Taylor, thoughts on the matchup and thoughts on who wins this one in the Meadowlands?
I do think this is going to be tough for CJ Stroud because this is still a good Jets defense. Mm-hmm. You don't know how in it they're going to be because of where they're at this season. Maybe Zach Wilson kind of lights a fire a bit just because they're like, all right, we're resetting. I don't know. Yeah. They're like the Patriots where it's, you can't expect a lot. It's like defenses who are playing their butts off because their offenses just are incompetent. Man, I'll go under. I take the under.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't think the Jets are going to score. And I really do think that the Jets are going to be able to contain, especially without Tank. I don't think you can underestimate that. They've got a really strong connection. So I take the under. I think the Texans will win just because they're in better shape right now, much better shape relatively. Mm-hmm. But I think the Jets are going to make it tough for them.
So I'm going to take the Texans minus 3.5. I do think they win this one, even like you said, without Tank Dell. I think what they have going on offense is, really good. CJ Stroud's playing like a 3-4 year veteran already in his rookie season. They continue to win games, but I like the over. I think 33.5 is low. I think we're a little spooked when we watch Patriots games and we think that NFL offenses can't score points, but they in fact do. Yeah, it's trauma. And so I know the Jets defense is good. They were really good to start. They've fallen off a little bit here and there. All of a sudden they're pretty good sometimes. But at the end of the day, when you continue to lose games and running through the quarterbacks and things like that, it's hard for you to, as a defense, to get up every week. So I'm going to take the over. I think that the Texans score points, and I think Zach Wilson might throw a couple on the board as well. So I like the Texans minus 3.5, but I do like the over 33.5 in this one. You can get all of those. Yes.
And I was just saying, to your point, I wanted to check their schedule again. They lost 13-8 to the Falcons, where you're not going to expect them to score a lot. But to your point, they did lose to high-powered offenses in the Bills and Dolphins, but they allowed 30 points in both those games. So there has been a bit of a skid. You lost to the Falcons,
right?
Still, so
and again, when you do play your butts off, game after game, and you keep losing, that's why I'm thinking about it now, thinking about the game we just talked about, Pat Steelers. How many more games can the Patriots defense just go balls to the wall, let up 10 points, 10 points, 6 points, and just get sick and tired of it and be like, well, we're doing our job, F it, I don't care anymore type thing, and just kind of let up a 30-burger. So.
And one thing, though, and now we're kind of getting into other stuff, right. But with Belichick and Saul, I feel like players were more vocally upset with the Jets. And with the Patriots, obviously, you got Gottschalk being it sucks. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But Peppers has been adamant that Bill Belichick is not the reason they're losing these games. And I don't think, at least, I'm not locked in on Jets media, but I haven't heard people really stand up for Saleh in that way. So, while we have all these conversations about whether or not Bill Belichick's going to be back next season, there's plenty of reasons that you could argue he shouldn't and won't. But at the same time, it doesn't sound, at least, like he's lost the locker room. It just feels like they understand injuries have really put them in a bad spot, and also that their offense, like everybody can see it, they're completely incompetent.
Right.
And it's like you can't really expect your coaches to be doing much more when, and Adrian Clem's gone. Like there's so many things going on with New England. This is its own tangent. Maybe we clip this and plug this. It's like it's its own thing. Yeah. But like with the Jets, it's not really the same. There's not a lot of good vibes coming out of that locker room.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's some weird things. The Wilson thing, the Saleh thing. Texting somebody and saying that look at these teams without a quarterback. Like it is odd. It's weird. A little bit of locker room lost. So again, maybe the defense does let up a little bit and let up some points, and that's kind of where my head's at, and that's why I like they're over 33.5. You can get that number at FanDuel. Speaking of FanDuel, we're gonna quickly take a look and listen at our sponsors over at FanDuel.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than NFL. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including you got spreads, you get your player props, you got over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
We're heading over to the NFC now. Lions minus the total is 43.5. The reason I picked this game, Taylor, when looking through the slate is because, frankly, take a look at the Chicago Bears, because you look at the Patriots, and I'm trying to relate it back to the Patriots here because we are on Patriots Press Pass, and we do mainly cover the Patriots. They are in the conversation for the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft, and so are the Chicago Bears because they have the Carolina Panthers pick. Panthers currently hold the #1 overall pick. Long story short, my eyes are all over Justin Fields every single week here to see if Chicago thinks that he is, in fact, their franchise quarterback, see how he plays. If they do land the #1 pick through Carolina, maybe they, trade back and, maybe the Patriots can get up to 1 and take their quarterback, or maybe they pick Marvin Harrison and then Patriots sitting at 2, they get their pick of the litter, yada, yada, yada. That's why my eyes are on the Chicago Bears. They're taking on the Detroit Lions, who are one of the best teams in the NFC this year. They look really, solid. Jared Goff's been up and down the last couple weeks, but overall, that team kind of continues to just grab some wins here. And so they're 3-point favorites on the road, a small number for, one of the better teams in the NFC versus the Bears, who are, very much continuing to rebuild. So 43.5 total. Finally, we get to talk about a total in the 40s. Two teams that do, in fact, score points in the NFL. So what do you make of Lions versus Bears, and who do you think wins it?
I'm just going to say Bears because I'm kind of just trying to manifest this as well. Because also I feel like I've seen a lot of breakdowns from the Lions defense lately. They haven't really been, as sturdy as I expected them to be. And the Bears are the perfect kind of team where they have so much explosiveness that even when they're not doing well for stretches, all it takes is one play for Justin Fields to break out into space, or DJ Moore to take a screen like 70 yards for a touchdown. And I feel like this is the kind of Lions defense that could let up some of those plays. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not super familiar with the Bears defense.
Right.
And obviously the Lions are pretty hyper efficient, but they've also made a lot of mistakes and shot themselves in the foot. So I'll go with the frisky pick, and I'll go with the Bears. Do I think this is going to be high scoring? I could see it being like modest. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see fireworks, but I think I don't think it's going to be a slog.
So I'm looking at the Lions and the Bears last matchup, which was just 3 weeks ago, I believe. And the Lions did win 31-26. Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions in that game. So it did go way over the total. Different environment, obviously. You're in Chicago versus in the Dome in Detroit this week. But I do think
higher scoring, actually. So, all right, I'll change. I'll go to the over.
I think I like over 43.5. But I do think the Lions end up pulling it out. They're playing for more at this point. Bears are playing for less. Lions playing for, seeding and things like that. And, the Bears, I mean, again, you look and want to see if you have something in Justin Fields, but they're not really on the outskirts of the playoffs or anything like that. So easy one for me. I'm taking the Lions -3, and I'm taking the over. Let's go back to the AFC East. Bills at Chiefs. Chiefs -1.5 favorites. at home, according to FanDuel. The total is 48.5. Man, that Chiefs offense does not look like the same offense at all without our good friend Eric Bieniemy there, who I said should be the Patriots' next head coach. If you go back and watch Pat's Daily's mailbag with myself and Taylor the other day. Matt Nagy running their offense now. It just doesn't look the same. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, and he still, makes great plays, and he's still the best quarterback in football, but they're not scoring points. They're lacking in the wide receiver department. Travis Kelce doesn't look like himself. That defense is lethal, but they're just not getting it done. And now the Bills come in. Bills, I believe, coming off a 2-game win streak. They just had a bye last week, and they've won their last 2. Josh Allen looks to be better after they fired Ken Dorsey and allowed Joe Brady to take over the offense. I'm going to say it right now. I think this one is going to be high scoring. These Bills-Chiefs games are always electric at Arrowhead, so I'm immediately going to take the over 48.5. But the spread is interesting to me. I don't know who's going to pull it out. Both teams kind of coming in at different points in their season. So, Taylor, I'm going to defer to you. Who do you think wins between the Bills and the Chiefs this weekend at Arrowhead?
I don't know, man. This is tough.
Yeah, it is.
I want to say over because I feel like you're not going to be able to contain Josh Allen because he usually shows up for games like this. And while I wouldn't want to predict that the Chiefs score a lot of points, I feel like Mahomes is just going to will them. Now, that being said, we've seen Mahomes will them to victories, and it didn't work because his receivers didn't let it happen, and they let him down, including Travis Kelce. So it's a weird one. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills, like, if it's kind of a little back and forth, and then the Bills, like, get the upper hand and then just kind of steamroll them.
Yeah.
But Mahomes-led team, so you never think that that's really something that can happen. And the Chiefs' defense is very good, and I think their pressure schemes could really get to Josh Allen and make things uncomfortable for him. So this is really tough, man. I feel like I could be dead wrong on this, but I'll go Bills, and I will. Honestly, I'll go under. I'll go under for this. I'll go under.
All right. Taylor's on the under. I'm on the over. He's on the Bills. I'm on the Chiefs. I just love Pat Mahomes. I just have a hard time betting.
I do too. It's just the receivers. If you
had
like 2 guys I trusted, I'd be like, yeah, they're probably going to pull this out. But after the last game, were just all those drops and big moments. Like I can't bet on these guys.
No, I'm with you. I don't blame you. I just have a knack for not betting against Pat Mahomes. But that's just me, and that's why we're here to talk it out and talk it through. And you might change my mind. Maybe I'll pick the Bills by the time Sunday afternoon rolls around. Speaking of Sunday afternoon into Sunday night, we're going to get to 2 primetime matchups, Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. But before we do that, let's take a look and a listen to our friends over at SeatGeek.
I've been looking for the best deal on Celtics tickets, and with over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events every single day on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports festivals, and more. With the NFL, NBA, and NHL seasons in full swing, you don't want to miss out. SeatGeek has your tickets to every game. Plus, artists like Travis Scott are on tour. They put all the tickets across the web in one place to make sure you're getting a good deal. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so look for the green dots. Green means good and red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, and SeatGeek is the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. So as you know, I always come through for you guys. You can use my code DREAMERSPRO for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase with promo code DREAMERSPRO. Make sure you check the link in the description to download the app.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Eagles at Cowboys. Cowboys -3.5 point favorites according to FanDuel. Eagles finally got beat last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Niners come across the country and beat them at the link. Your friend over at NFL Media, I don't know if you know him. I don't know what your thoughts are on David Carr, but the brother of Derek said the other day that Jalen Hurts, who is banged up, he said that Jalen Hurts should be benched for Marcus Mariota. Before we get into the game, I want to get your thoughts on what David Carr from NFL Network had to say on Jalen Hurts.
First, I do not know that man.
Okay.
I have no association. Second, that's a dumb take. Like, That's just her sitting in a production meeting being like, all right, we need somebody with a different
Yeah.
opinion, maybe something spicy. And he's like, yeah, I'll be the punching bag. I swear half his job at that network is just to say outlandish things and just have Twitter blast him, but he gets paid good money for it. So good for him.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh my God. So the Eagles. Do we know what Hurts is actually dealing with right now?
I'm not sure.
Don't know. Well, regardless, the Cowboys are rolling right now. And
Yeah.
I feel like this is the kind of perfect situation for them to just keep proving, especially Dak, that, they beat up on some bad teams, but this is a good chance to keep proving that, like, no, he's playing at an MVP type level. And against an ailing Jalen Hurts, like, you don't like to bet against the Eagles. They're just so talented. But I also just think the Cowboys are a very well-built team, top to bottom. And I think it could end up being a shootout. I'm not sure with the weaponry that the Eagles have.
Yeah.
You're not going to count them out. But I would see, I take the over, and I would say that the Cowboys are probably going to be the ones to pull it out.
Yeah, I agree. Finally in the 50s here with the total 51.5. So we crept up the entire show. We're in the 30s and the 40s. Now we have one that's 51.5. Two high-powered, high-flying offenses. I like the over here too. I like to obviously root for points in this game anyway, but two great offenses. Dak playing like an MVP. The Eagles in a bounce-back spot after not getting themselves going last week. Man, though, I don't know about the spread. 3.5 points. I think I like the Eagles. I think the Eagles can win. And if they don't, I think they keep it within a field goal game. So I'm going to take the Eagles.
That's probably smarter, honestly. That's probably smarter.
That's why we're here. We'll talk it out, take two sides. But we both like the over 51.5 because we're going to root for points on Sunday Night Football. Let's go to Sunday Night Football before we finish up here. Dolphins hosting the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis and DeAndre Hopkins' Tennessee Titans. Almost 2 touchdown favorite, minus 13.5. The total is 46.5. The Miami Dolphins are rolling. Mike McDaniel has that offense flying into December. The last couple seasons with Tua there, they started hot. He would get hurt. They'd fizzle out. They'd be close to the playoffs, whatever. Not this year. It's December, and they're still scoring 45 points a game. Not a game, literally, but last week they put up 45. They're always, they're always up there. Tyreek Hill looks like an MVP candidate. That guy's a monster. That offense is flying. The defense, pretty good too. The Titans just fired their special teams coordinator this week after 2 punts were blocked in their loss to the Colts last weekend. Will Levis kind of getting his feet under him there. Mike Vrabel, don't know if he's going to be there. Don't know if he's a Patriots head coach candidate next season. We'll see how that all plays out over the next month and a half or so. But for now, Monday Night Football, Titans at Dolphins. Dolphins heavy favorites. Tayler Kyles, what do you make of the matchup? And who wins it? Do the Dolphins cover 13.5 points?
I think theoretically Will Levis is like unhinged enough to keep this close just because he's going to take some crazy shots and, Hopkins is talented enough to come down with them. But the Dolphins defense has really figured it out and they're really rolling. And I think that their passing game, the way it works and how quick it is, can kind of nullify the Titans defensive front, which is the strength of that team. So I think the Dolphins, this is a steamroll kind of game. Like I want to say that Will Levis, has a couple big plays that keep things competitive early, but I just think that the Dolphins are going to seize momentum and not let it go.
Yeah. I'm with the first point you said that I think the Titans can keep it close. And I know we did this a couple weeks ago where it was like a 20-point spread with the Cowboys and Giants. And you were like, well, it's the NFL. They keep it close. And I was like, I don't know. And then I was right that time. But I think that this time you're going to be right in that Will Levis keep it close. It is an NFL football game. I don't see the Dolphins winning by 14, even though they are rolling. I just like kind of what he does on offense. And like you said, can be unhinged enough to keep it close. So I like the Titans with the points. 46.5. I think I like the over. This is an over show for me, but I mean, with the Dolphins scoring 45 last week, I think they keep their stuff rolling. I don't think they get that high, but I do think they'll score enough, and I think the Titans keep it close. So in saying that, I like the Titans plus 13.5, and I like the over 46.5 in this one. That's going to do it for us here on Patriots Press Pass for Week 14. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/Boston to get your bonus bets. They'll give you a sign-on bonus if you go to FanDuel.com/Boston. He's Tayler Kyles at TKyles39 on Twitter. Read all of his stuff, analysis, things like that at CLNSmedia.com. One of the best in the biz for film study and telling you like it is about the Patriots. And where they are in this season. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Kadlick. Read my stuff at WEEI.com. For Tayler, I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week, and thanks for watching.